The midday sun beat down on the Virunga savanna, highlighting patches of golden grass and scattered acacia thickets. The modern asphalt road, a gray scar cutting through the pristine reserve, usually brought only a sense of rush and intrusion. Today, the silence on that road carried a different kind of tension. Sina, the formidable lead lioness, felt the pressure. The prolonged dry season and the constant human presence had made hunting harder for her pride. She needed quiet, she needed nature's deference, but instead, a rank, offensive smell, mingled with a metallic tang and fear, drew her away from her resting spot. The scent emanated from a dark, large, and heavy object that had been crudely dumped into the thicket right by the roadside. Sina approached. She couldn't understand the man-made plastic material, but her instinct screamed that it was wrong, an intrusion that had to be removed. She used her powerful jaws to bite down on the bag strap, bracing herself to pull. Muscles tensing, claws digging deep into the earth, she hauled with a fierce, decisive tug. The black nylon bag, concealing a secret, was yanked out of the shadow of the bush, lying exposed right near the road's white line, under the scorching sun. A deep, resonant roar erupted, not a call for prey, but a warning, a declaration of territory against a foreign object. At that exact moment, Inspector Malia and her white patrol vehicle appeared on the horizon. She was in a hurry, her mind heavy with a critical missing person case she was investigating, a case tied to major smuggling rings. When Malia slammed on the brakes, she was forced to stop before an unbelievable sight. A massive lioness growling, defending a black trash bag. In that moment of confrontation, Malia knew that, in this vast wilderness, an anonymous trash bag had stalled humanity and was holding a secret far greater than anything she had ever imagined. Malia gripped the steering wheel. The patrol car stopped 10 meters from Sina. She turned off the engine, and silence enveloped them. With years of experience in the Special Forces Ranger Corps, Malia knew this was a dangerous stalemate. She couldn't start the engine and drive on, as that might provoke the lioness to attack. Nor could she leave. The missing person case had haunted her all week, linked to large-scale smuggling, and her gut told her that Sina's unusual aggression towards this bag was no accident. Sina stood her ground, growling steadily. Her head was slightly tilted, eyes focused on the bag, then quickly flicking to Malia and the car. Malia recognized that Sina's ferocity wasn't just directed at the bag, but was a general defensive response. She scanned the area, suspecting vulnerable young cubs were hidden in the nearby bushes, making Sina determined not to abandon her position. This feeling doubled the pressure on Malia. She had to protect people, protect justice, and protect the wildlife. Malia pulled out her binoculars, her hands trembling slightly. She meticulously scanned the bag. It was larger than normal, tightly secured with multiple industrial zip ties. On the surface, she saw deep, sharp scratch marks. Sina had clawed and torn at it repeatedly, as if trying to expose or destroy the hateful object. Through the dust, she faintly saw a dark liquid that had seeped out from the bottom of the bag, staining the dry sand. Malia swallowed hard. She knew it wasn't rainwater. Sina's patience finally broke, perhaps stimulated by the prolonged silence of the vehicle, or simply wanting to decisively deal with the nuisance. Sina let out a short, powerful roar. She used her front paw to deliver a strong blow, tearing another large rip across the middle of the bag. Malia tightened her grip on the binoculars. Through that tear, the image that met her eyes froze her heart. It wasn't ivory, nor money, but a patch of familiar tawny brown fur. Then another detail, small yet carrying the weight of the world, emerged. A piece of worn leather collar on which she herself had engraved a name. Tears didn't fall, but Malia's whole world collapsed in that moment. It was Keto. Keto wasn't missing. Keto had been murdered. Malia instantly connected the dots. Keto was a working dog. Keto had disappeared in the context of Malia investigating the large-scale smuggling operation at the ranger station. Keto was killed, not consumed by wildlife, but packaged and discarded like trash. The brutal truth was clear. Keto had found evidence of the smuggling and was executed right within the heart of the ranger station. Malia clenched her fists, her resolve suddenly turning to steel. Now, it was no longer just a case. It was betrayal, it was personal loss. She looked at Sina, the lioness still growling, unknowingly becoming the guardian of the most important evidence. Malia silently swore to Keto and to nature. She would not let this crime fade into the shadows. She had to retrieve the bag. She had to reclaim justice. With the bitter truth about Keto exposed, Malia retreated inside her car, her brain working at full speed to piece together every fragment. She had seen the collar, and she knew what it meant. Keto wasn't killed by a random poacher. Keto was executed by someone he trusted, right within the safety perimeter of the ranger station. Malia immediately thought of Elias. Elias wasn't just a ranger. He was the only one with the authority and access to conceal a murder in that area without detection. Malia recalled Elias's recent supply reports, the skewed figures, the mysterious trips. She had been suspicious, but couldn't believe that the colleague she once respected, the man who had participated in courageous anti-poaching operations, could be the traitor. This betrayal had a massive motive, an international smuggling ring. Malia knew well that the smuggling lords weren't just interested in ivory or rhino horn. They wanted to use the Virunga Reserve as a transit base for a multi-million-dollar cargo waiting to be moved out of the continent. This shipment couldn't move until everything was quiet, and Keto, with his superb sense of smell, couldn't be silenced. Keto had discovered Elias's massive illicit stash, perhaps a secret compartment under the floor, or a false wall in the old storage room. Keto was the only witness who couldn't be bought or intimidated. The truth about Elias was tragic. Malia knew he wasn't born a monster. Elias had been corrupted by overwhelming financial pressure, perhaps a relative's severe illness, perhaps insurmountable gambling debts. The smuggling bosses, with their cunning, found Elias's weak spot and made an offer he couldn't refuse, turning him into a desperate puppet. The act of killing Keto was the final act of desperation, to protect his identity and ensure the million-dollar cargo was safe. Now, Malia looked back at Sina, the lioness still standing next to the hateful bag. She felt the terrible irony. Sina, a symbol of the wild, was enraged by a man-made object carrying death and deceit. By dragging the bag into the light, Sina had unknowingly exposed Elias's crime and acted as a natural whistleblower. If the bag had remained in the bushes, insects and time would have decomposed it, erasing all traces. But Sina didn't allow that. Malia understood that she was not just dealing with a murder case. She was confronting the moral collapse of a person who had once sworn to protect nature. And she had to act immediately. If Elias was watching from afar, if he saw Malia focusing on the bag, he would know his disposal plan had failed. Malia needed to retrieve the evidence before the perpetrator could send someone to destroy it or attack her. Her safety and the success of the case depended on her getting past nature's most powerful gatekeeper. Malia knew that every second that passed put her life and the success of the case in danger. She couldn't call for immediate backup because it would take too long and attract unnecessary attention from Elias, who might be monitoring movement from a discreet vantage point. She had to act alone, and quickly. First, Malia needed to ensure Sina wasn't harmed. She pulled out her satellite phone, contacted the closest ranger team not belonging to Elias's unit, asking them to prepare a high-frequency acoustic deterrent device capable of scaring away wildlife without harm, but demanded absolute secrecy about her location. While waiting for that unofficial support, Malia decided to try the first tactic, distraction. She deployed a small drone equipped for survey photography, maneuvering it to fly in a zigzag trajectory about 50 meters from Sina. The small buzzing sound and the flying image overhead did, in fact, distract Sina. The lioness looked up, her growl shifting to a territorial warning sound against the aerial object. Malia seized the moment. She put on gloves, grabbed a long-handled, specialized hook and an evidence bag. Opening the car door as quietly as possible, she moved in an arc, crouching low to the ground, maintaining maximum distance from Cena. Cold sweat streamed down her forehead under the fierce sun. Malia felt like she wasn't a police officer, but prey trying to bypass a predator. When she was about 7 meters from the bag, Malia stopped. She could see Keto's shape and wounds more clearly through the tear. The pain almost brought her to her knees, but the will for vengeance held her up. She smelled blood and a faint scent of gunpowder. A crucial detail confirming Keto was killed with a silenced weapon, something only professional smugglers would use, or compromised ranger. Malia extended the long hook to try to pull the trash bag. This action immediately drew Cena's attention. The lioness turned her head, the growl echoing, her eyes blazing with fury. Malia stopped, holding her posture. The two faced each other. Malia's eyes conveyed respect, plea, and absolute determination. "I'm sorry, my friend," Malia whispered, "but this is justice. You've helped me enough." Just then, the high-frequency sound from the secret support team began to emanate from the opposite direction, distant but sufficiently irritating. Cena, caught between the flying object above, the strange noise, and Malia's presence, finally decided to act on her purest wild instinct. Retreat from the incomprehensible. She let out one last roar, turned her back, and quickly ran towards the dense bush, blending into the wild. Malia wasted no time. She immediately used the hook to pull the bag towards her, quickly slashed the bag open with a knife, and transferred Keto's body and all evidence into the specialized evidence bag. She found a small but critical detail: a moss green fiber snagged on Keto's wound, the color of the ranger station uniform. All the evidence was sufficient. Malia got into the car, turned back, looked towards the direction Cena had vanished, and silently thanked her. "Thank you, my witness." Malia drove back to the ranger station, her heart heavy but her gaze firm. She didn't come to apologize. She came to deliver justice. The evidence, Keto's body, the collar, and the moss green uniform fiber embedded in the wound, was enough for her to act. The tragic irony was that Elias, who had killed Keto to protect his identity, had unknowingly left irrefutable evidence. Keto's body was dragged out of the shadows by the very power Elias thought he could manipulate. Malia gathered her team, consisting of those she trusted, who had been briefly informed of the betrayal. They proceeded to arrest Elias right in his office, where he was pretending to review patrol reports. Elias's face turned ashen. When Malia placed the evidence bag on the desk, he understood that everything was over. During the interrogation, Elias's collapse was painful and tragic. He admitted to killing Keto because the dog had barked incessantly and wouldn't stop digging at the hidden ivory stash under his bedroom floor. He admitted being coerced by the big-time smugglers after getting entangled in inescapable debt. What he couldn't believe was the failure of his disposal plan. "A lioness," Elias stammered, his eyes staring into space. "A lioness dragged it out. It's unbelievable." Malia looked at Elias, without pity, only sorrow for a man who had lost his soul. But this victory didn't stop with Elias. The evidence recovered from the trash bag provided a clue about a major, smuggling lord hiding in the city, the one who had funded and armed Elias. Within hours, with a warrant and solid evidence, Malia's team arrested the kingpin, dealing a fatal blow to the large transnational smuggling ring. Keto's sacrifice was not in vain. Cena's intervention brought a monumental victory for justice. After everything, Malia returned to where it all began. The asphalt road was clean, and Cena had moved deep into the savannah with her pride. Malia stood there, commemorating Keto, the friend who fought to the end and was honored by nature itself. She realized a profound truth. We don't just protect nature. Nature, by its instinct and primal force, is also protecting us. Cena had rejected man's crime, adamantly refusing to let deceit lie on her path. This story is the proof. It is the promise. In the fight against greed and destruction, nature is not just a victim. It is our strongest ally. Cena the Lioness placed justice on the road's line for us to see. If the story of Cena's roar has touched you, If you believe in the power of the silent heroes in nature, help us spread this message. Please share this video with your friends so the story of Keto, Malia, and the Natural Guardian can spread. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Every subscription is a confirmation that you want to continue listening to moving and inspiring stories about the connection between humans and the wild world. Let's explore more wonderful and meaningful moments like this together.